Hello everyone, it's Angie here at Beads and Plenty More. Today I thought I'd show you how to do this wired pendant, added with a few little semi-precious beads in it. So I've just added this onto like a cording, and I went ahead and just tied some slip knots at the back just to finish it off. So it's a fairly simple project. So I will add a supply list at the end of the video here, so you can screenshot that if you want, but I'm working with 12 gauge wire here. So this is aluminum wire. And it's a good beginner wire to muck around with because it's fairly forgiving. And so I've cut 9 inches here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I've got blunt end cuts on my end here. So when you're cutting with cutters, you want to make sure that the flat side is the side that's your good side. And it'll give you a nice flat cut, a nice flush cut. So same thing on this end. Just take the little end off here. So now I've got 2 little flush cuts here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my round nose pliers and we're going to create the spiral shape. So I'm just going to grab partway down the pliers, but right at the end of the wire here to create a loop. And then we're just going to take that loop further. So as I said, 12 gauge wire, it's this aluminum wire, it's nice and forgiving. You can actually just manipulate it fairly easily. So once I get the spiral the way I want it, I can take my round nose pliers. And at this point, I'm really just using the round nose pliers to hold. And I'm bringing the wire around them. And then I'm just going to take and make a loop at the end that I can then use to hang my pendant. So there's my end loop. I might just squish those a little closer together because they're a little bit far apart. Okay, so now, as you saw, that wire was quite flexible and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pounding block and a chasing hammer, and I'm actually just going to tap it. And what I'm doing is I'm work hardening the wire. Ideally, try not to hit your fingers because it does hurt. So once I've got that fairly uniform all around, you'll notice I've put a flat side on it now. So it's got that flat side. And what you'll find is that once you've done that, the wire's not quite as malleable and it makes a better surface to create your finished pendant. So I'll just move that off to the side. And now I'm going to take and I'm going to wire some 4mm beads in. So these are agate beads that I've got here. And I thought they were pretty because they had lots of color to them. And I've got 26 gauge wire. So you don't have to have a long piece of wire here. You can work with smaller pieces, which makes it easier because you're less likely to put kinks in it. Reese is commenting in the background here. So to start off with, all I'm going to do is take the wire and I'm going to wrap it a couple times around. Move those 2 wraps to go closer together, maybe even make a 3rd wrap. So when you wrap once, you can wrap to hold, but when you wrap multiple times, you actually get a better hold on it. And then I can take my pliers and just squish down on that to hold it in place. So I've got it fairly secure now. So my wire is coming from the underside of the top one there. I'm going to put my bead on. And I'm going to go over the wire on the inside. And that I find that the bead sits a little better when you do that, when you're alternating. So I've got it on the inside here. And one trick I have for pulling the wire through is you may notice that I'm just poking the beginning of the wire up close to it through first. So if you try and thread from the end, you'll put more kinks in the wire. And that can be frustrating as you work along. Okay, I think I'm getting to the point where I can add another bead now. So my wire is coming from the underside of the inside wire there, or the inside of my spiral. So I'm going to go over the wire on the outside edge. Oh yeah, that's sitting fine. So I'm even tugging the wire a little bit to get it to sit where I want it to sit. And that's another way of getting your wire to stay tight. You can come in with your pliers and squish down on it, on your little bundle of wraps there. And that will also help the wire keep from slipping away. You do want to be a little bit careful with 26 gauge wire because you can actually break it easier. So you want to make sure that you're not there's someone outside the door here. My Cocker Spaniel is letting me know here. All right, so ready for another bead. So I told you to work with short ends of wire. When you get to the end of the wire, you just wrap it off so it finishes the wire off. And then you start with a new piece right where you need to start. So I'm going to finish this and I will show you the finished product at the end.